Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Daily BS, where the drama's fresh and somewhere somebody's publicist is crying. Oops. Today we've got Oprah defending Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz with "They were nice to me." Selena Gomez and her mom get sued for fraud over that mental health startup. Jenna Bush Hager admits the Nepo baby thing we've all known since 2009. And my favorite fake feminist, Alex Cooper, finally responds to to Dave Portnoy. And I do mean that with air quotes, because did she really respond? We're going to get into it. And of course, we've got Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau still going at it in Europe. Dear God. All right, guys, lock the door and let's get messy. All right, so many people, maybe me as well, might have called or thought Meghan Markle was a narcissist. I mean, heck, according to royal author Robert Hardman, Queen Elizabeth II detected narcissistic behavior on the part of Meghan. I mean, come on. And if anyone knew a narcissist, it was the Queen, because she had to deal with them constantly. But now, famed psychologist Dr. Leslie Dobson is weighing in. In an interview, this is a preview of an interview I am airing this weekend on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Dr. Leslie, God bless her, hold on, let me get all this ready, told me this. And I have to apologize. For some reason, my StreamYard was sucking today. So she looks good. I do not. No diagnosis of both Meghan and Harry. What would it be, even though you have never, you're an armchair psychologist on this, but you are an actual psychologist. What would your final diagnosis be?
I think they have a lot. There's a lot going on. So we have the traits of narcissism, but I think there's so much trauma in both. Like it has been rocky this whole time. So I'm sure there's some kind of traumatic diagnosis in there.
Oh, is there ever? So then she told me they were trauma bonded. And I played her, after talking about narcissism, I played her the clip from yesterday, which I love so much that I'm just going to have to play.
You argue with a narcissist. How do you talk to a narcissist? How do you most effectively communicate with a narcissist? I am so excited for today's episode, and backed by popular demand, communication phenom and trial attorney Jefferson Fisher is here to talk with you and me today about the key secrets and rules you don't want to break for arguing with a narcissist, whether at home, in friendships, or in the workplace, and how it impacts all areas of our lives.
So I asked Dr. Leslie, who, by the way, is a clinical and forensic psychologist. She doesn't look like it because she's so goddamn glamorous, but she's been doing it for 2 decades. She's also worked with a ton of celebrities, celebrity kids. And this comes up because I also interviewed her for News Nation on why child stars are often just turn out so badly. And it's a hell of a one. That's coming up on Tuesday next week. But I wanted her to answer Jamie Kern Lima's question of, how do you deal with a narcissist? This is what she told me.
Yeah.
Do you deal with someone like that?
Well, I mean, really simply put, when I'm around people who have narcissistic traits, I put everything between 2 cushions. So if I want to tell you, 2 cushions.
Okay.
If I want to maybe correct you or ask you for something, or you might be able to do something better, I'm going to compliment you. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to compliment you again really fast.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm going to stroke your ego so that any kind of criticism doesn't get taken, because in somebody with narcissistic traits, criticism doesn't feel like it does to you and I. It is like an epic blow to the gut. So you have to be very careful in your communication with them, and you have to have reasonable expectations.
Yeah. Can you imagine all of the insane stroking that goes on in Montecito on the regular? It's so bad, especially since they've had Meghan and Harry have both had such a woeful downward spiral that it's even been noticed by the Urban Dictionary, which I love this so much. The Urban Dictionary now has a term, no, not donkey punching, or some of the other ones we all learned in high school and college. This one is now Sussexful as the term, meaning the name for everything the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle tried to do, but it always goes belly up. For example, let's use it in a sentence. One could say Prince Harry was unsuccessful suing the Daily Mail and lost the case. Wow. Yeah. Sadly, the term Sussexed hasn't been included as in, oh, you've been Sussexed. I know some of you guys call it Markle, but I don't like to just single out Meghan on this one because, frankly, I think Harry is just as bad as Meghan. I think they are two peas in a trauma-bonded, weird-ass, crazy pod. So I like to call it Sussexed instead of Markled. You know, I also think it's only a matter of time before you've been Sussexed. So many S's in there. It really messes up my saliva glands. But, you know. And now, meanwhile, one woman who knows what it's like to be Sussex, this lady, Oprah Winfrey, whose keen eye for walking disasters created the likes of Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, whom she's now apologizing for, kind of. It's so weird. In a new interview with Emmy Magazine, Oprah stood by her decision to platform these two men, despite some of their odd fake claims, while observing that they have taken different paths, saying, people criticize me for Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz because of their politics or their views. Dr. Phil, he was so practical, so down to earth, so real, she told the magazine. And he would ride in the car with me every morning on the way to trial. You know, that beef trial she was on, where I'm literally sitting on trial for 6 weeks. It's Texas cattlemen accused her of defaming the beef industry, whatnot. And she said, I felt he was so instrumental in helping me. I thought, oh, you could help a lot of people. You should come on my show. Okay, and then she gave him his own show, and then he went on to shove his sons onto shows, even though the sons had never gone to go be schooled or whatnot. As for Dr. Oz, who is actually a doctor, Oprah said, Gail introduced me to Dr. Oz, because, you know, all good things come from Gail. That's not what she said. That's what I said. And he explained practical things like colon cancer and bowel movements. I always like my shits explained. Just side note. Oprah goes on, I think he had the language for explaining medical things in a way that was helpful to me. I thought it would be helpful to many other people, and that is how they ended up on the show. Now, everybody has their own path in life, and it has not one thing to do with me, and I don't have one thing to do with them. At the time, the reason and the intention behind me giving them their breaks was I thought they had valuable information to share that had been meaningful to me. I mean, how to say I can't stand them while your eye is ticking at all anymore without actually saying it? Well, there we go. However, I got a bone to pick with Oprah, who has foisted a lot of charlatans on us, not just those two cowpokes, or, well, one cowpoke and one Jersey poke. She did remain quiet on the spiritual healer, Iyanla Van Zant, who, by the way, held a doctor in spiritual counseling sessions, whatever the F that is. That's like getting a lifeology PhD from the Turks and Caicos. We'll get to that in a minute. And Iyanla was also accused of toxic counseling methods. That's a shocker. I don't know if she was ever really a counselor. She also tried to foist Jenny McCarthy on us. That woman who liked to say she, by the way, not a doctor, cured her son of autism through a macrobiotic diet. Oprah then offered Jenny her own show and platformed her many times. Jenny thankfully turned down the show because she didn't want to really work that hard. God bless her. I actually agree with her on that one. Oprah also platformed Rhonda Byrne. Rhonda Byrne, who, if you've ever bought The Secret and go to the back cover, kind of looks like a cracked out Christina Applegate. And who wrote that book with several people who got PhDs from a lifeology course in the Turks and Caicos. Not sure if that's accredited, but I mean, if y'all want to get a PhD from lifeology, why don't you just donate to me? I will set you straight without even giving you the ology. All right. I mean, this is amazing because Rhonda Byrne's like formal training, by the way. This is the woman who was like all that manifestation crap. And at one point in The Secret basically said, I am paraphrasing, that a bus full of kids who died in a school bus crash probably thought about it and therefore manifested it. Something along that line of crap. Rhonda Byrne's formal training is entirely in media, radio, and television production from Melbourne, Australia. Sorry, Melbourne, Australia, for all those Australians out there. I mean, so yeah, Rhonda got her degree as a snake oil salesman. Oprah made her famous, but yet Oprah's not apologizing for any of these other creepy crawlers. That's cool. I mean, almost all of them went on to shill some crazy weird ass supplements, diets, books with no actual science backing, podcasts, courses, you name it, anything that you could buy from them. Because basically, if Oprah backs someone, take it with a whole bucket of salt and check your bank account because it's about to be empty. That's all I got to say on all of those messes. And BT dubs, they are a mess, including Oprah and her bestie, Gail. Oh, ma. Speaking of emptying people's bank accounts, because you know I love it when all people want to do is just shill me some shit. We got Selena Gomez. And frankly, she and her mother have been accused of fraud in a lawsuit filed by investors of her, I'm going to try not to gag while I say this, mental health company, Wondermind, alleging founders, quote, falsely represented the crumbling organization as one poised for success. Wondermind, launched in 2021, was supposed to function as a pioneering mental fitness media and tech company ecosystem. I don't know, just throw in all those buzzwords that will, if you've got some sort of a name and go to Silicon Valley, they're like, yeah, here's $1 million, here's $5 million, who cares? Oh, the company was founded by Selena Gomez, her mother, Mandy Teefee, and entrepreneur Daniela Pearson. By the way, Mandy Teefee, no wonder Selena changed her name. I mean, Selena Teefee does not sound good, just BT dubs. Anyway, the platform was aimed to democratize and destigmatize mental health care by providing daily content, expert-backed tools, interactive resources, and celebrity interviews via podcasts and articles. So let's just break it down what that mumbo jumbo says. They basically promised mental fitness content. So they were going to publish daily articles, expert advice, and interactive mental health exercises, whatever the fuck that is. They also wanted to get podcasts and interviews featuring high-profile conversations hosted by Frau Teefee with therapists, athletes, and artists to normalize psychological struggles. They were also going to provide practical, stigma-free tools, treating the mind like a muscle, requiring daily physical style exercise. I mean, groundbreaking stuff, right? Now, to be fair, it did launch a basic website, newsletters, and a few podcast episodes. However, it failed to deliver on its grandest promises. The app itself, the whole thing it was supposed to center around, was never built. The app that was supposed to track daily mental fitness, like how are you going to do that, by the way? Are you going to plug it into your watch? Who knows? That never materialized. Then Selena Gomez, who was marketed as the head of marketing, well, court documents state that she ignored her contract obligations and was barely involved. And then former staffers also described her as, quote, completely disinterested. I mean, are you shocked? A lot of times these things are founded just to give family members something to do. I know in country music, they all just hire their family members as staff members, which is why a lot of the country music artists like kind of fall flat after a year or two because family members don't know what they're doing. Well, apparently this is this for Selena. Meanwhile, there were fake partnerships. The co-founders who were suing them the co-founders claim to have multi-million-dollar advertising deals with major financial institutions, but investors who are suing the co-founders allege these partnerships never actually existed. And the investors who poured in $1.2 million into the organization are seeking a jury trial in a new lawsuit against Selena, her mom, and Wondermind Global, Inc. It's amazing. I mean, the plaintiffs are alleging they were made to believe the company had been equipped with resources necessary to make it a success, but unbeknownst to them was, quote, in the midst of a collapse. Yeah, amazing. Investors claim they were left in the dark about the problems going on for more than 3 years until a 2025 article by The Cut revealed the troubles, or the alleged troubles, plaguing the organization. Now, all right, I got so many things to say. Number one, before you give your money, do your research. I say this about charities all the time. Invictus, go look at people's finances. Make them give you actual bank statements or see where the money's going before you shell it out. Just don't shell it out because Selena Gomez comes into a meeting and does a song, dance, and a twirl. Not cool, not smart. Now, the other thing I got to say is just because you suffer from an ailment, in this case, mental health, and then you get treatment, it doesn't mean you're an expert in it or that then you should go and bilk people out of their money for some product that you want to help others with while enriching yourself. I mean, now listen, Selena has been open about her battles with bipolar, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, etc., and has done stints in treatment facilities in the past. Okay, but why you gotta try to make money out of it? Why can't you just be like, hey, it helped me? Here you go. You guys look into it for yourself instead of saying, come to my app or give me money for this. I mean, most times when celebrities start things, my BS detector goes off like a hornet, a mad hornet, and I was not alone in this one. Now, moving on. In New York City, Jenna Bush said the quiet part out loud today. So the Today Show anchor, Jenna Bush Hager, I still call her Jenna Bush, I'm sorry. I knew her back then when it was Bush, has revealed that one of her co-stars, not just somebody in the room, not a gaffer, not a producer, not an associate producer, a co-star, accused her of having landed her coveted TV job because of her famous father. A gasp. Clutch your damn pearls, everyone. So, as you all know, Bush Hager, who is the daughter of President George W. Bush and the granddaughter of President H.W. Bush, made the claim during a segment about Nepo babies on air, which I think it was hilarious that they had a Nepo baby subject there anyway, but God bless them. So she went there. Mwah. The first former daughter did, let me remind you, land this plum gig on the Today Show back in 2009, shortly after her father left the Oval Office, just 2 months into the job while still learning the ropes and keenly aware, she claims, that she didn't know anything. She said a colleague bluntly told her, "We just thought you were hired because of your dad." By the way, a colleague who, if you look back at when she was hired in 2009, were actual journalists and had worked their way up in journalism from day one, said that. So then Jenna explained, when people say mean things to me, which is online, that's their thing, and I get it. And it's a thing that probably all of us can feel bad about. But then what we do to get over that is like work like crazy, work beyond to where we're working ourselves too much. Hager then claimed her purported overexertion had attracted the attention of her fellow NBC personality / another Nepo child, Maria Shriver, who told her, "Why are you doing this?" Because, by the way, it's not like Maria Shriver ever did that. I mean, of course, Shriver is the scion of the Kennedy family. And yes, she's worked there for years, but it's not exactly broken a lot of news. All right. And then Jenna acknowledged, "I'm sure, and I haven't asked my boss, and I'd rather not. I was on the show because of my dad, and he was president." So, you know what, heads up, Jenna, yes, you are correct. I mean, let's be clear. How else does a public teacher magically, a public school teacher who's making nothing, but just random public school teacher like my mother was, magically become a correspondent for the Today Show other than, well, I don't know, your dad? I mean, to be fair, Jenna is not alone. That network loves its Nepo babies. As I mentioned, Maria Shriver works for the network, but this was my favorite. 2011, 2 years after Jenna came on, they gave a huge ass contract to Chelsea Clinton, she of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton spawning, and she was hired as a NBC news specialist, making, wait for it, $600,000 a year. And she was supposed to work on feature stories, and she did something on like education and possibly homeless, I forget. It was very forgettable. She was literally like watching paint dry on TV, and then that's okay. They kept her on for 5 whole years. She didn't even appear on air in half those years, but she stepped down in 2014 and then magically got another gazillion-dollar job somewhere via her parents. I mean, frankly, she sucked. I'm not a huge Chelsea Clinton fan ever of anything, but that's all right. She did technically and actually suck on air. But you wonder, why do they keep doing this? Well, the benefits of having a famous Nepo baby that is known to all of us in the news is that when their famous parent dies, you get the exclusive and the ratings that come along with that death. I mean, it's pretty harsh, but it's true. Back when I worked at the New York Post, we hired Victoria Gotti as a columnist. And God bless Victoria. I liked her, even though she would lock herself in every day for hours in the end. She insisted on coming into the office, lock herself in the handicap stall in the ladies' bathroom and chain smoke while loudly talking on the phone. And the funniest thing was, I'd always try to go to the bathroom with her because you wanted to see what she was talking about. Creepy, I know, but that was me. I just needed it. I was at page 6 at the time. Couldn't report it, but still have the notes. Meanwhile, the only reason they hired Victoria Gotti was not because she could string a sentence together, #she couldn't, was because they wanted her for when John Gotti, her dad, died. They hired her 2 years before he died. The Post had heads up. He had brain cancer or some sort of cancer, wasn't going to last that long. And sure enough, he died. She wrote the column. And it was all about how her dad had promised her a pony, and he always delivered. I think she was like fired the next day or the week. It was, usefulness out. So that is technically why they always hire Nepo babies. Fun fact. All right, now on to Alex Cooper. And by the way, if Victoria puts a hit out on me, you all know why. Alex Cooper, this lady, I can't with her. She has finally addressed allegations that Barstool sports owner Dave Portnoy made in his memoir, where he claimed that the Call Her Daddy co-host, remember when Call Her Daddy was a thing? And she was paired up with Sophia, and all they would do is talk about blowjobs and sex and all that crap. How they were planning to accuse Barstool of sexual harassment to get out of their contract. So, yes, Alex previously worked for Portnoy when her Call Her Daddy podcast fell under the Barstool umbrella. And she and her former co-host, Sophia Franklin, dramatically split from the company in 2021 and then split from each other. We'll get into that in a minute. Portnoy, in his memoir, hinted that the split was far from amicable and then made a series of bombshell allegations in the memoir called Cancel Me If You Can. It came out earlier this year. And some of the allegations were crazy, including that Cooper and Franklin, Alex and Sophia, threatened to concoct a bogus sexual harassment claim to get out of their contracts. Yeah. In a bid to force through their contract demands, Dave Portnoy claimed the Call Her Daddy hosts simply stopped putting out their podcast, sparking the possibility of the Barstool Supremo suing them for breach of contract. And there was an angry back and forth, a secret meeting on the rooftop of Portnoy's apartment building. And then he proposed, quote, the most generous offer in Barstool history, basically saying it would have made them instant gazillionaires. And it would have. But then Dave said, out of nowhere, I got a call from Alex asking if she could meet me again without Sophia. And this is dodgy as hell, right? And so he said, yes. And we trekked up to the rooftop. And apparently Alex said, I love the deal you proposed and I want to take it, but Sophia's never going to take it. And then Dave was like, all right. And Alex said, do you guys realize I'll sue you if you take the podcast to another network before you, or he says, I'll sue you before you take the podcast to another network is out, right? And then Alex claimed that she and Sophia had a plan to say they were both sexually harassed at Barstool, for which Dave then wrote, for years, Barstool and I had been pilloried for making sexist jokes, but we'd never been accused of inappropriate workplace conduct. But had they decided to go that route, even though it was patently untrue, it would have been a tough fight to win in court, because in court of public opinion, which is really what matters. The court, whatever, it would have settled out of court. Who knows what would have happened? But public opinion would have buried them. And he notes, rightfully so, nobody would have believed his side of the story. And then he says, I realize this is a heavy accusation, but they wanted to break their contract with us by lying about sexual harassment. So then Alex went on, this is amazing, she went on CNBC's Squawk Box, which I think is the funniest thing because it's Squawk Box and it's like, look at me, I'm an important businesswoman now. And when asked to comment on those claims, she did try to dodge the question and then finally answered, again in quote, Dave's got his version and I've got my version and we're all good. I mean, what the F, right? Why'd she bother going on Squawk Box at all? Well, I will tell you. It's because her former partner, Sophia, also has a book coming out in which she describes the Call Your Daddy split with Alex as, quote, an unexpected betrayal of another woman, probably alluding to that solo meeting on the damn roof, right? The hell? Oh my God. By the way, thank you, Suzanne King. I love you. I appreciate you. Meanwhile, that completely altered Sophia's life. And then she says that during their friendship, there were, quote, secrets, omissions, and things left unsaid, and claimed Alex used a bully pulpit to portray her as a villain. I mean, if you look back at it, I absolutely believe it. And then the other reason why Alex is going on Squawk Box, because she and her husband, media executive Matt Kaplan, media executive because he runs her company, have faced a ton of public allegations and workplace controversy all around their media empire, the Unwell Network. So in recent media exposés by like Bloomberg, Vanity Fair, featuring dozens of current and former employees, here are just some of the claims against Matt Kaplan, Alex's husband, who runs the company, they say he was verbally abusive, and staff members say that Kaplan frequently yelled at and berated employees, creating a culture of fear, anxiety, and paranoia behind the scenes. They also said that he threatened careers, regularly threatening people's jobs and payments, and at times bringing production crew members to tears or prompting set walkouts. They also said that Matt, husband of Alex, engaged in inappropriate contact. It's crazy. They said that Matt used offensive language towards staff, made derogatory comments about employees' physical appearances, and asked invasive questions about their private lives, and that he was a puppeteer. They said he was completely controlling operations behind the scenes and exerting heavy influence over the company's direction. Now, meanwhile, they also say that Alex enabled this lousy, crappy behavior, and the employees allege that Alex presents herself publicly as an empowering feminist leader for young women, but yet sat silently beside Matt while he berated staff and didn't bother defending her team. They also say she's a hypocrite and a mean girl. Again, I don't want to shock you guys. They said that the culture, the internal culture of the company contrasted sharply with the brand's public ethos, and former staff members alleged that high-profile fallout with creators on the network, like Alex Earl, why don't you talk to her? I'm actually not mad at Alex Earl, stemmed from petty internal dynamics. So I just got to say, number one, this is why Alex went on Squawk Box, because oops, all these people are saying you're a fake feminist and you're kind of a jerk, and oh boy, we hate your husband, who you are Stand By My Manning 100%, but also because of Sophia's book. And it makes you look back at Dave's book and then think of Alex saying Dave's got his version and I've got my version and we're all good. It makes you think, you know what? I'm pretty sure I know who I'm believing, and it ain't the blonde fake feminist. Oops. Now, speaking of, dear Lord, these people, I'm so sorry to do this to you guys, but speaking of fake feminists, what do you get when you have two rich, attention-seeking, badly dressed fools and one long, hot-ass summer? My God, you get this. Oh, dear Lord. Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau's never-ending gross-out tour of Europe. I mean, we've now had to suffer through hundreds of photos of the two plastered across the internet, making out in France, Greece, and now Italy. And oh God, sweet Jeebus, make it stop. Europe, North America apologizes for this, but let's face it, these two doofuses will leave at some point, and then they're our problem again. So I say, sorry, not sorry. We have to deal with it all the time. All right, whoops. The palate cleanser left. That is the turd bird. So I'm just going to let it go. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you helping me with this experiment I call Daily BS. Now, please like, subscribe, share it to friends if you can. I'm going to be doing it Monday through Thursday through the end of August and possibly far beyond if it catches on. But I gotta get some help from you guys. So like, subscribe, hit the hype, send all the shares. And I just really appreciate you guys so much. I do. I love this community. Lobsters unite! Woohoo! All right. Bye, guys.